Ego is the biggest enemy to everything. It's the thing that will mess you up the most. Just staying level-headed, I think, is everyone always says the same thing. Yeah, my determination, my grit, resilience, those kind of things. I think I've got non-negotiables that I've set in my personal life and my work life, and staying strict to them has helped me as well.
Hi guys, and today we have Harry from HM Staffing. So, Callan, it's been a little while, and obviously it's going to be a slightly different one. We're not going to be doing the hot topics today, because obviously what we're about to talk about is actually kind of the hot topic, is mental health. So, Harry, could you just tell everybody that's watching and listening at home a little bit about yourself, what your business is, and then obviously then we'll go into the naughty bits.
Yeah, sure. So I own a recruitment agency called HM Staffing. We specialise mainly in sales, marketing, office support. We have an office in Reading and also in Manchester, which we're looking to staff up next year. So that's all exciting. Alongside that, also host a podcast called The Spike, which obviously film.
We do the filming here at the Portch channel,
which is all fun, exciting. Season 2 is coming soon, which is, it's going to be interesting. Definitely, I think the guests are not a lot bigger as such, but there's some interesting people coming on, some interesting stories.
Obviously, one of them last week. That's definitely going to be an interesting one, right?
Yeah, it's just finding the time to put the people in. It's a nightmare sometimes, isn't it? But no, I'm excited. I want to smash last year. Obviously, last year we were Apple charts and everything like that, and this year it's all about maintaining the top 20.
Keeping the drive going. Right, on that subject, obviously we were talking just before we went on air, or whatever you want to call it, so obviously you do recruitment.
Yeah.
Recruitment, obviously, we've had discussion before, you have your ups and downs of mental health, but obviously in the industry that you're in, there must be a lot of mental health problems, right?
Yeah, I think recruitment's known for being quite bad for it. There's a lot of targets, there's a lot of stress. I think I just said to you, it's one of the only sales roles where you have two emotions. So the product being the person, to a certain degree, obviously it sounds a bit weird saying that person can change their mind, just like a client can. So it's not like me selling furniture or anything like that, where the furniture won't just turn around and be like, no, I'm not going to this place. Recruitment, that happens. So you kind of bank on these things. You're going to hit a target. Yeah, I'm going to get a promotion. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. A lot of stuff falls through, and then it's just the highs and lows constantly. So it's difficult to manage it and keep yourself positive and sort of ride the lows.
You've done this since the age of 20, right? You set up HM Staffing when you was 20.
So I set HM up at 20. I started recruitment at 18.
So you started recruitment at 18?
Yes.
Because obviously I've been in your office, and obviously I've seen the spinning wheel and who makes the coffees and that kind of stuff. So obviously what makes you, so obviously that must help a little bit. The bit of the banter and bits and pieces, and obviously not that you don't get the job done, but obviously we was having a discussion about other recruitment companies and bits and pieces, and certain way they treat their staff, and they're shouting at them bits and pieces. You seem like more of a family kind of thing, if you understand. I mean, you get on well with each other.
Yeah, we're all quite similar. That's the key thing. So when we're hiring people, we really get to know them, because if I bring in someone that clashes with everyone, then the whole environment's going to go completely down. And where we are quite young, we focus on personal brand, we focus on personality. You have to have quite a big personality to work at HM. It means that everyone does get along. Don't get me wrong, there are some clashes that happen and stuff like that.
Standard life though, right?
Yeah, exactly. But where we're quite open with each other, we've got a nice atmosphere where you can talk to anyone about anything, which obviously helps the mental health side of things, especially when it's low and you've got people around you that will bring you up. It's created an environment where everyone can be themselves, but also get support from each other.
That's not a bad way. I suppose many people could. Yeah, that is a good platform, because obviously some people 9-to-5 jobs is, it messes with your mental health. So what my main question was, when obviously we've been talking about bits and pieces, I've seen how it's different in there. What would you recommend for just standard life mental health? What would you recommend to anybody? Obviously you've suffered with it yourself, bits and pieces, you know other people that have suffered with it. What have you learned, like a tool is what mine is? I do fitness, I try to do the whole thing together. What helps you to go to work every day to continue doing what you're doing?
A lot of mine's my routine. I've got to have a good routine. So I train in the morning, so that kind of helps that side of it. Come to work. When you get back, kind of watch your thoughts at night as well. That was a big thing. I sort of try not to watch too much TV, like reality TV. I don't really get involved with any of that anymore. I used to always watch it. And I say, I always then felt bad about myself when you were watching it. And then as soon as you stop watching it, you're not comparing yourselves to these other people, which is
That's not a
massive
bad
thing.
way of looking at it.
You look at Love Island right now, you know, you watch a lot of Love, so someone that watches a lot of Love Island, they're constantly seeing people like topless, for example. You're comparing yourself to them constantly. That's not really a fair comparison, is it?
No. I suppose, yeah, it's that body image kind of thing that's going on with that, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, and I always try to have some time for myself. On my weekends, I'm normally by myself, sort of relaxing. Do you know what? I went to actually a school, which is a Quaker school, so it's a bit weird, really. So
What school?
a Quaker school.
What's a Quaker school?
Quakerism, I think it is. It's a religion.
Oh, I see.
So
Right.
the school had
yeah,
the Quaker ethos.
Yeah.
Every Thursday or Wednesday, we used to have to sit in silence for 30 minutes and reflect every single week.
Oh, wow.
And
So you went to Leighton Park, didn't you?
yeah, so I went to Leighton Park. So anyone could stand up and say whatever they wanted, and you would not get in trouble for it.
Really?
So you could stand up and say, "Oh, I'm really struggling this week." One person actually did stand up and say they did try to commit suicide. So they stood up, they talked about it, they got it off their chest in an environment where no one's going to judge you, and then they got the support after from the teachers, obviously. But
That's not a bad way of... I never thought... Do you know what? That is not a bad way. I suppose if kids had more of a voice, they probably wouldn't keep after stuff.
That's it. It's encouraging someone to come out from a young age. Like we've got this stigma now, adults, because like you said before, Scott, you've gone through your life having to bottle things up because you've been around people that have a hard interior and exterior. So if you're from a kid's age, you've learned to get off your chest whatever's there, then that's only going to benefit your kids in the future, isn't it?
yeah, no, exactly. And you have a nice time to self-reflect. And don't get me wrong, I don't sit in silence for half an hour at a time now, but I do still do a similar thing when I'm on my own. I just reflect a bit what's happening. What lesson can I learn from that? And so I don't really make the same mistake. But it's a nice time to actually have where you reflect on yourself, what's happened, what's done well, what's not doing well. Okay, well, how can I change that? How can I make sure that bad thing doesn't happen again? And you do that kind of stuff.
Do you reckon that helps you? Obviously you got Entrepreneur of the Year.
Yeah, that was in lockdown.
That was in lockdown. But what I meant as in for somebody your age to be, obviously I suppose, focused on what they're trying to achieve. Do you think obviously the school not that the 30 minutes obviously made you stronger, but what I meant as in because you've been able to speak your mind and have someone that you weren't judged?
Yeah, massively. And I think it's difficult not to believe your own hype. You know, you win awards and stuff like that, and you get sucked into this whole thing of, oh yeah, I'm the man, I've done this, I've done that. And when you sort of take yourself away from it and you do like reflect a little bit, you can kind of start to not believe your own hype, which is a really good thing, because if not, you get carried away and you do stupid things. Like, we've all done stuff like that.
Yeah, of course. I think everyone's done that in a way when obviously you think you're the top boy and all that. But that's obviously when we've talked about subjects before, it's also about how people perceive you, right? And obviously that's why my mental health went down the industry that I was in. It was all about you had to be tough. You couldn't admit that you had a weakness. And obviously it built up and up and up and up. And obviously eventually I broke. Yep. But obviously the way you've come from in a different kind of life, obviously your school was supportive. Not that my school wasn't. It just wasn't a thing back at school. And obviously now it's starting to come into all schools. But obviously now what I'm trying to say, the schools helped you massively, which has probably helped you create obviously HM staffing, bits and pieces. What have you taken? So obviously from the schools, what have you taken and put into your work from that?
So there's quite a lot. So the whole ethos of the school is everyone's equal. So that's one big thing. So the headmaster at the time was called Nigel. We didn't call him sir, we didn't call him Mr. whatever, we just called him Nigel. I mean, it's quite patronising, right? Say you're a headmaster, you're telling someone off, someone's like, all right, Nigel. That could be seen as quite patronising.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And like when you're 13, you obviously abuse that. It's quite funny calling your teacher by their first name and stuff like that. Like you do find it quite funny. But I've put that into the business where, okay, there is a hierarchy to a certain degree because I've got to run it, but everyone is equal to a certain degree. Everyone's opinion matters. Where exactly what the school did, I've kind of done something pretty similar with the business, which is creating an atmosphere where everyone gets along, everyone feels equal, everyone feels appreciated.
Yeah, and just rolling back to what you said about reflecting, without having that pumped into you from a young age, how likely do you think it would be that you are where you are now?
Do you know, I still think there would be an element of it. I think the school did absolute wonders, and it's either it worked really well with you whilst you're at school and you really got stuck in and believed it all, or you didn't. And I don't think there's too much of a difference. I still think there's a massive thing about, especially with men's mental health, like not speaking up and everything like that. And I think that's when it's important to have time to reflect by yourself, because there's not many people that you feel like you could probably call and actually speak about things to. especially, I think a lot of men have that issue. So when I have that reflecting time, that's that time where I can sort of reflect, speak to myself to a certain degree, but not actually like a mental person sat there having a conversation.
Yeah, no, I get that.
And what do you do then? So like, I mean, when you're at home and you're reflecting, there's a chance bad thoughts could come into your head and you can start running away with them. If a bad thought does come into your head, what do you do to get yourself out of that and think positively?
I'll write down on my notes on my phone. Write down on my notes, write it out, and then just delete it.
So it's out, it's gone.
It's out, it's gone, deleted it.
That's
a good tactic that I like that.
That's
and
not
then
a good tactic.
I've got an album on my phone that's just like nice photos, like nice memories.
Nice.
I'll have a look back through that. I've got myself, younger me on my home screen. So I unlock my phone. So whenever I look at my phone, I'm having like a bad thought. I'm always like, right, you need to do it for that young lad there. So I keep that constantly there. But there's some of the stuff that's in that album. I've got like, when we turned to me, my mum, my dad with logo, H himself and logo as a cake. Stuff like that. So I can look back and think, oh, that's nice. Yeah.
But you have achieved a lot. How old are you now?
24. I got my age wrong the other day when someone asked me and they were like, what, you don't know your own age? I'm like, oh, yeah.
Lived a lifetime.
Yeah, I was like, I just forget.
So from the age, obviously, you was in recruitment from 18, you obviously set up your first one at 20.
Yep.
So from 20 to 24, you've created HM Staffing, because obviously I would have said you were older. Obviously, with seeing the business that you're in, is not many recruitment companies, I would say, that I know of, like 24-year-olds that set it up at 20. Obviously, it also hasn't allowed, because your industry, like you said, is very stressful.
Yeah.
So obviously, you've worked out a pattern to obviously keep yourself mentally strong, or as best as you can be in the environment you're in. But obviously, that takes a lot. Obviously, just even putting up with Callan's a bit stressful, and it can affect.
It is very stressful. Scott's just proper jealous because I've got hair and he hasn't.
Do you know what? I do see him looking at my hair all the time. He did say he wants to come to Turkey, and I was like, why do you want to go to Turkey? And now I've just realised.
That's what you did, isn't it?
Well, I went to Turkey.
The stressfulness, you went to Turkey, got it all, put it back in.
I tell you what, when my hair starts going, I'll come back with like a full head of hair.
It?
Yeah, I probably would.
Would you do it?
Mate, do you know what? I mean, it's hard to say until you're in that position, isn't it? And like, if you're insecure about it. But some people go over there and they get great jobs, mate. I remember Rooney was obviously one of the first ones to do it.
Yeah,
and first it looked weird. And then after a while, I mean, it don't look like you've lost
Isn't
your
he
hair.
gone bald again? Didn't it all go back the other way?
It's gone a little bit thin, but he's still got a full head of hair.
Do you reckon that helps his mental health? Obviously, I know this is about mental health, but obviously, clearly.
Yeah, because you're looking at yourself
mine.
in the mirror all the time. Do you know what? I think some people suit it, some people don't, right? So that's the key thing there. Can you grow a beard? If you can't grow a beard and you're bald, you're going to look a bit like an egg, right?
Yeah,
so
true.
there's a few
Yeah.
things. Like if you can grow a beard, then you can. I feel a lot of people can pull it off. I feel like I would shave it off. I couldn't back it, and I couldn't feel comfortable.
Honestly,
then I would,
it would mess with my mental healf having hair. Because the amount, obviously, you've got to wash it, you've got to dry it, you've got to have it cut.
But that doesn't take long. You're worried about washing his hair. You still got to wash your head, though.
Yeah.
The amount of money you save being bald is remarkable.
I mean, my haircut in lockdown never went out of fashion.
Yeah, see, I'm £28 every 2 weeks.
Yeah, see,
£28 every
hair and
2
beard,
weeks.
yeah.
Yeah, mine's 25, and I think every 10 days I get mine cut.
That's mental within itself.
Well, I was going for a stage, I was getting them weekly. I was constantly on camera, I was constantly recording content, I was constantly out meeting people, so I wanted it to always feel as confident as I could.
Yeah, of course.
So doing little things like that were a way that I could.
Do you feel like you do these things to make yourself look good on camera or to make yourself feel good that you're looking after yourself?
Feel good that I'm looking after myself. I don't really care what other people
helps
do.
with
Much.
There's that fine line there. Like, I mean, I like dressing in suits. Yeah, I used to work in a suit shop, and just whenever there's a chance for me to dress up, I love it. And then I've had people say to me in the past, "Why is that?" Is the same question, and I'm like, no, it's just because me looking after myself, taking ages to get ready, ironing my shirt, and it's just something that makes me feel real good.
Did you work in Moss Brass in town?
No, Tim Lewin.
I was about to say, someone served me like 3 years ago that just looked really similar.
Might be what, the one in Oracle?
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be my mate Damien.
That was just a weird little click then. I was thinking, have I bought a suit off you before?
Yeah, no, I worked in Tim Lewin. Obviously, it's gone now, but it used to be on the corner. So Moss is like there, and then a few ones down towards the perfume shops. Tim Lewin.
So that's the thing. Like, the haircuts and stuff like that is to make me feel. I don't really care what other people think too much. Like, I'm not really.
I
bothered.
get that even as a bald man. Obviously, I have my beard done, not feels one, obviously it's pleasurable, obviously having the Turkish shave and
Yeah,
bits and
yeah.
pieces. It's the feel good factor. But
That's
obviously
it. The
refresh.
dopamine you get is from it is unreal. Like, I mean, if you they
I
say
fall
there's
asleep.
this joke there. I mean, Scott, obviously you can concur a bit with a beard, but if you ever feel bad, go get a haircut.
Oh,
Sort you
go,
right
go
out.
to the gym, get a haircut, go out and do something.
I used to do that if I'd had too much to drink at the weekend and I was still feeling rough. On a Monday morning, I'd go and literally have a Turkish like massage, shave, just for the good, like, oh yeah, okay, I'm a little bit back together in the room kind of thing. And
But it is little things like that. Like if I feel like I'm having a bit of like a stressful week, or I feel like a bit like, I feel a bit under pressure and candles burning at both ends, I'll just go do things. I'll go to the gym, get a haircut, might go buy like some new clothes, like a new t-shirt, something like that. Make myself feel good about
That's
stuff
it.
like
It's,
that. And I feel
I
back.
suppose it's your little
That's
perk.
it. It's happiness habits I was on about before. So like, there's this doctor called Dr. Rangan Chatterjee. He's got this book. He was on Dorisio.
Yeah, I think I've seen. I
Yeah,
haven't
and
watched
he's
it,
talking
but I've
about
seen
that
his thing.
happiness habits. Like, pick 3 habits. So like today, for example, you could go home and you could write down 3 habits which make you happy. Not necessarily like, I want to earn X amount of money by the end of the week, but just like you say, go to the gym, get a haircut, things that give you that little boost of dopamine. And then a week later, sit back and say, have I achieved them goals? Because those 3 goals there are what you've outlined to be your happiness habits. So once you've done them, it should put you in a good state of mind mentally.
Yeah.
So it is basically like we were saying, doing those little things there is so important. So easy to forget to look after yourself,
It's
isn't
the
it?
little perks, isn't it? Sometimes it's not. You don't need to spend millions of pounds, but it's like sometimes the little perks in life.
Yeah, you always see that famous quote, oh, like you can't, like I'd rather cry in a Lamborghini, whatever, money can't buy happiness and all that stuff. I mean,
It helps though.
It helps.
In
It does
fairness,
help.
right? I've been through mental, but not that money would completely solve my problem because it can't solve it.
yeah.
But it can definitely help towards
100%,
Yeah.
1,000,000%. Like, say, look at the crisis now. Money's going up, petrol's going up, everything's going up.
It cost me £120 last week, right? Normally, when I first bought that van, it cost me £86 to fill it up and I'd get 800 miles.
That's mad. Yeah, like I remember, what was it, March? I went down to Wales to climb some of the mountains in Brecon Beacons, and I paid, I think it was 155 for a litre, and now it's 182.
It's
Like, you know,
mental.
like just from
Yeah,
March to
it's
now,
mental.
that's gone up nearly 30p.
Well, loads of my mates. So I've got
Crazy.
Lewis up in Manchester. I've got Josh and Morgan there in Hull. Yeah, so they're 3 of my closest mates. So to go see them 3 hours up, 3 hours down, spend a fortune in petrol.
Yeah, mate, but again, obviously I say this quite a lot, but it's the world is gone mental. It has since
Yeah.
lockdown, a bits of peace. You can see why everyone's mental health is something. It's not just where before it would. Well, I say probably a lot of people more that weren't open about mental. But if you look at society now, the way obviously you got social media, the fuel, the energy bills, the food, the COVID. There's kids. Do you know what I mean? School, work. No wonder but you would think the world and especially UK would be a lot more geared up.
You'd
And it
think
would-
so.
You would think so, right? But it's not. That's the bit that I find that's madness. It's not like it doesn't exist. Obviously, it's proven. There's exist. Why wouldn't you have more gym, more this, more? Why would you need to pay that much fuel, that much tax? And I get it, and obviously it's about the country, but you're costing yourself, like, obviously stressing everybody out. So you're going to end up paying it back with the NHS because you're going to have to try and stabilise everybody.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
You affect.
You see, all the the train crisis. Have you heard about this train
Yeah,
strike that's happening?
Yeah,
They're
it's
mental, like
ridic-
40,000 workers due to walk out tomorrow. Bam. And then it's looking like bin men are going to do the same. And then teachers through the UK are looking like they're going to do the same because they're not valued. It's like, where's the point where it all stops? Because if trains stop running, a lot of people commute. Bin men, imagine how messy the streets are going to be. Teachers, like, I mean, none of us would be where we
kids.
are right now.
Yeah.
We're just talking about school with you, Harry. You know what I mean? Like, if they walk out, it's so important. Like, it's just going to go crazy.
I do think it's going to end really badly though. Like even look at salaries. We're seeing it a lot now. Salaries are going through the roof. So salaries are going
something's
through
got to
the
give,
roof
though, and
because
that's-
other prices are going up. But then because salaries are going up, inflation's going to go up even more, and it's just going to be a never-ending cycle of it.
Yeah, because obviously, imagine like in your position with work,
Yeah.
your salaries are going to have to go up in order eventually to cope with obviously their living costs, their rent, their mortgages, their food, their travel, But where do you draw the line? Because then you've got to pass that on to your customers.
Mm-hmm.
Them customers have then got to pass it. And it's like a
Well, that's the thing. And then a
effect.
lot of customers are like, we're not paying more. Our fees up. We can't put the fees up. And they might go elsewhere. So then you lose business. Okay, then your costs are going up, but your actual income's coming down.
Yeah, that was a bit like the security industry when I first got into it when I was 16, 17. It was a lot more then than it is now. But it had to go down. But obviously, living went up, but the salaries went down.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't any more money in the budget.
See, that's where it could go. It's like we've seen salaries increase like 50% all the time now.
So, yeah, a bit like what we were talking about earlier. Some of them, it's mental. So obviously, I don't know how to say without sounding mental. Some of the stuff like just go in to pick up your kids in bits and pieces.
Yeah.
You need to do it.
Yeah.
But how do I afford to be able to 120 quid in a week on fuel? You're thinking, right, no, I can't do this. I can't do that.
500 a month.
Yeah, it's mental. But then you've got, you know what you said, like you'd normally go and have a haircut to make yourself. Eventually, where does it stop? Because then I couldn't afford to do the gym, which then obviously will affect my mental health even worse.
True.
And it just keeps, it's just one of them spiraling things.
I guess there is always alternatives, isn't there? And I guess that's a good thing about human nature is being an adaptive person. So, say about not going to the gym, if you have to sacrifice that, you can do body weight exercises, do more cardio work. There's, Central Park down the road, for example, throughout the whole of the park, there's like dip stations, chin-up bars, like things like that, which you can obviously get your heart rate pumping.
Yeah, that's very true.
I've just had it like my direct debit started going up. My phone bill, I normally pay £50 a month. Contract just ended. I was like, right, well, my season ticket I pay that monthly. My golf membership I pay that monthly. So right, everything's going up. Won't get an upgrade. I'll just drop it down. Goes SIM only. So my SIM only deal just got 15 gig a month, and I'm paying £10. So that's already saving me £40 a month. Things like that, you just got to be quite smart about it, haven't you? But we're all in a bit of a sticky situation right now. So
yeah, I think it's going to get worse before it gets better with something.
Do you know what I think one of the massive problem is for a lot of people's mental health is stuff like Klarna. Klarna, ClearPay.
Big time.
Yeah,
people struggle with that hugely.
I don't know what's going to happen to them, but they've obviously just made huge redundancies. Klarna have massive, and Apple have gone into online banking. So Apple Pay now you can like finance stuff. So many people are getting into debt because of Klarna. Like I know someone, I'm not going to say their name obviously, but their Klarna account monthly is £700, £800. They get paid, they clear Klarna.
Yeah.
They reload it all back up, and they're in a cycle with it like that. Never has any money because he's constantly
caught himself in a
Klarna.
vicious.
Yeah, and then like something will happen, like something might break. Okay, well he's got to replace it. He'll get it on Klarna.
Wow.
Constantly.
It's a difficult one to be in, isn't it? Because obviously credit cards have been around for so long, and you can either be smart with them, you can dab with them if necessary, like what happened to me obviously with my when my plane got cancelled. Luckily I had the money there, but it's always obviously important to have like a little credit card there, whatever. If you haven't got the money, people that couldn't get home if they had a credit card, blah blah blah. So it's not like they haven't been around before. It's just people just kind of need to be a bit smart when they use them. Be realistic. Spend within your means.
Klarna's too accessible though. There's not many 18-year-olds that have credit cards.
Yeah, but see, when I was at school, we were taught. So obviously, I don't know if you want to call it street skills, whatever. But we were taught how to balance a checkbook in bits and pieces.
Yeah,
like
we didn't get any.
You
of
don't
that.
get any of that anymore.
No.
So obviously, when you get a credit card, in your head, the first thing is, well, I didn't work for that, and I've got free money.
Yeah. Same as overdraft. So, but like Klarna, so like at 17, well, I don't think it's 17, 18 now, you could load up a Klarna account, you could put loads of things on it. You just thinking, oh, that's free, like I'm not gonna have to pay for that, and then you forget that you actually do have to pay for it. And at credit cards, you wouldn't. There's not many people at 18, like parents as well. Yeah, parents would like normally be involved in that. How easy is it to put someone on Klarna?
Yeah, I'll get with you because especially if you're doing Apple and if you've got a phone, it ain't gonna be hard.
Yeah, and there's not really many background checks, is it, when it comes to Klarna and ClearPay and stuff?
No.
It's just like, right, bang, do a quick check. It's not a thorough one. They don't do a detailed look into the person. A lot of people obviously have obviously committed suicide over, I don't know if Klarna, but just looking obviously getting
money
into
in
excessive
general.
debts.
I'll tell you what, the
Where
only thing,
companies have to take more responsibility, don't they, really, to help out
Yeah.
the general public?
the only thing that I'll use Klarna for is if I'm buying clothes and I don't know if they're going to fit or not, I'll put it on Klarna, get the clothes. If I send it back, then I don't have to wait 28 days, whatever it is, for a refund.
That's exactly what I just done a moment ago.
Yeah.
With my foot
So
aside.
is that how that works then?
Well, that's what I'll do, and then I won't pay
Yeah.
for it, and then I'll send stuff back, and then it'll update the balance, and I'll pay the balance because I don't want, so to say I spend £200 buying like 4 different T-shirts for a night out, and then I'm going to only wear one. I'll do it that way instead of spending £200 and waiting for the 150 refund. I'll just do that, send it back, and then my account will update, and I'll just pay the 50.
Yeah, but that's okay. With that, then, how did you know to do that? Where did you learn to do it? Because what I'm trying to say, what Callan's trying to, I think he's say, it's so easy.
It's
and if
promoted on the websites.
Yeah, but it's
That's the issue with it. Oh, buy now, pay later. That's all it says.
yeah. But obviously, you've
Yeah.
worked out how to do it in a positive way. But most people think it. Well, I've got that. I'll do that. The way I would have seen that straight off, I've got 200 quid to go out with.
Yeah.
200 quid to do the thing with. But in theory, you spent 400 quid.
Yeah, it's terrible. Like it's one of those
It's
things.
pros and cons to everything, I suppose.
Yeah,
but obviously
you,
the education
really
needs
have to be
there.
smart about it. But just backtracking quickly, when we were just talking about cost of living going up, so kind of hot topics in a way. Obviously, without the I think it needs to go onto the
It's that
board.
one.
You have to go onto the board and change it. You know how to do it, don't you? Bear with us, people.
Oh no, it's not there.
Get a little
No, it's
stopwatch
not
on
there.
Scott, see how quick he's doing.
It's not there.
Anyway, it is on there, but
Oh, have I
yeah.
done it wrong then?
Yeah, if you go on, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We're
I
just
bit the end wrong.
Just sing it. You must know the tune.
hot topics.
There we go.
There's your Dan.
Hot topics.
There we go. So, I mean, it's made an unlikely appearance, but as we were just talking then, I wanted to fit it in, but of course we were just chatting. So, Harry, what procedures are you putting in place to overcome this crisis of living with your staff? What are you finding difficult to get through? Are you having problems getting contracts, etc.? Just talk me through your thought space at the moment.
We're not really having issues getting contracts because the whole thing about recruitment is so rewarding, right? Our commission's paid monthly. There's a lot of agencies that do it quarterly. So if you're doing well and you're billing a lot, that's getting reflected straight away. So it's your salary is completely dependent on what you put out. So we just signed a new client. I can't say who they are, but
Oh, it's just roughly what we were talking about.
yeah. So I think the salary's like 120 grand, 140 grand.
Yeah.
If someone feels that, they'll just get 9 grand added to their payslip. So for them, their cost of living kind of depends on that. They have a not low basic. The basic's competitive, but the commission is how they're going to do that.
Yeah.
Right. So we can't just constantly keep adding. It's all performance related. So if someone's not performing, then we're going to be at loss with them anyway. So we can't go and increase their salary.
Yeah.
So the people that are performing, they are getting so much in commission that they're not really going to see the big effect. Like if you filled that role and you got 9 grand added onto your payslip,
That's not. That's a nice little.
you're not going to be too worried about it, are you? So
Yeah.
there's a lot of problems with the whole cost of living going up right now. But for us, we're in such a rewarding industry. If you put the work in, like one of the team, prime example, so they had a big month, and then they paid for their trip to Ibiza, their commission.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So that's how we kind of battle with it. We changed the commission structure. We changed it from quarterly to monthly. We increased the bands as well.
To try and help balance some of the stress.
Yeah,
and take
so
it a
it's
little
not
bit.
like every 3 months you're getting paid. Oh, that's going to help. It's not going to stretch. You know, you can get it monthly now. You do well, you get paid well. It's simple as that with it. We try and make it as rewarding as possible. We obviously have to keep certain margins in place and everything like that. But it's so easy for them to really rack up stuff.
Yeah, but also the other thing I've noticed, I know we're on the subject of obviously the cost of living, but obviously I knowing who, or like learn who you are. If somebody comes to you in a crisis with one of your team because you're a team and needed help, I know you would help them.
Do you know what? I can't really talk about the situation too much, but it has happened before. And we got the person out of the situation, but it did come back to bite us.
But I don't think that would stop you from doing it again, though.
No, I don't think it would either. Because one person, what one person does isn't going to stop me trusting someone else in the future. I'm one of these people that will trust anyone until they give me a reason not to trust them.
Yeah. But obviously the way of the cost of living, like as an officer, we've all finding it difficult. But each industry, I think it all depends on each industry you're in. because obviously there's people now that have like got the food banks, bits and pieces, and they probably got 4 or 5 different jobs.
Yeah.
You know, it's quite difficult with certain ones. I think you guys, with what you do, are in a very good position.
Yeah.
But also the stress is completely goes with the good position. Do you know what I mean? It's a more stressful environment, but obviously it's good rewards at the same time. So it's trying to find that happy balance from being so stressed that it affects your mental health, and obviously the good part of getting, like you just said, $9 grand.
That's why recruitment's attractive, but that's why a lot of people last 3 to 6 months. Because they don't like the stress. And they'd be like, they'd rather be in a back office role where they're on a basic, they come in, they leave. Like, me and my brother were saying this the other day. My brother was like, oh, you hardly work. And in front of that, mate, if I have my work phone on me, I'm working. Constantly replying to emails. I'm constantly on the phone, replying to your WhatsApp and stuff like that. But a lot of people don't see that side of it. Mm-hmm. They think, oh, you leave, that's it, you're done. Your work phone is constantly on you because you're banking on a deal that's going to make you X amount in commission.
That may not hitting a 9 to 5 bit, right?
It's not like a car salesman. They can't take that car home with them and sell it on their drive. Mm-hmm. But you take your phone home with you, your database is on there, your candidates are on there, and your clients are on there.
So obviously with future things, what is, obviously I know what it is, but obviously tell everybody at home what the next part of HM staffing.
When's this going out?
Yeah, I don't think you'd be able to reveal. The big reveal is not coming just yet.
You can't do it because it will go out before the big reveal.
I think it's coming out.
That means we're gonna have to get you back on here, aren't we?
A couple of weeks we're announcing something that hopefully will be a big thing for us, and that thing we will do often, which will help with the growth of the business. And
where can they find out and keep an eye? We'll do it that way.
It'll be LinkedIn. LinkedIn will be.
So if they went on LinkedIn, HM Staffing, eventually they'll see.
Yeah, exactly LinkedIn.com/Harry Portch, and it just comes up straight away.
I know. Got a bit of marketing on there at the moment, actually, with a video that was obviously taken from footage. You want to talk more about that, Harry? Obviously, which got dropped the other day.
The bloopers.
Yeah.
So So
I know where this is going.
Yeah, the announcement where we're a bit different. I hate boring things.
Yeah,
there's a few agencies that they do similar things. They announced it in a post, and I'm like, it doesn't attract me. I don't rate that. It's not fun. So obviously we do the podcast here, and I was like, right, let's do a video. Let's do a video announcement. The video will be serious, but we'll do some bloopers as well. I said we're not going to force these bloopers. They've got to be natural as possible. And there's a lot of bleeping, isn't there?
They come out really well.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a lot of fun putting it together, to be fair.
There's a lot of bleeps.
Where can I see?
That's it. That's natural. I mean, you're just having fun. You've never said that you are an anchorman.
Yeah,
you know? Like, your skills are in other areas. Of course, you get your confidence through doing it off the cuff. Like you said, pressured situation.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. We had a few people send it to us and say the duo we never asked for, but we feel like we need now.
Yeah.
We had stuff like
it was great. I loved it.
Yeah,
honestly.
so it was fun.
Wrong industry.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, we got someone coming on the podcast that does a lot of stuff with like Chunks, Young Philly, and people like that. So I'll be saying to him, look, check these videos out.
And now that you've remembered the right date at the right time, we all got the right date, but you got the wrong date.
Everyone got the right date except me, and
You messed with my mental health, you know that, right?
I was adamant that everyone else was wrong. And
I was waiting for calendar to go, Scott, you told me it was the 21st and blah, blah, blah.
I was like, it's even in my calendar, and the guest accepted the link for that date. And I was like, I don't know what everyone's going on about. And I look back at LinkedIn messages like half an hour ago.
That's why we've got the whiteboard over there. The whiteboard's never wrong.
Yeah, I mean, then I was like...
I did send you in on Friday. The bad bit is, I sent you on Friday. What does it say about 21st? No, Scott, you've written it down wrong. Okay. No, Callum's going to have a moan. We've set this up. He's off Wednesday, blah, blah. Oh, God, there we go.
I'm quite stubborn when it comes to things like that as well.
Like, you didn't want to admit it.
No,
you got it wrong.
Then today I looked and I was like, okay, yeah, I did get it wrong. Yeah.
I'm quite glad you got it wrong, and because I was waiting for Callum to go.
Because even the guest was like to me, oh, yeah, tomorrow. And I was like, what's going on about tomorrow? And then I looked up and I was like, oh no, hang on, this is me. I've been saying, you guys been saying tomorrow as well. And I'm like, what are they on about as well? And then I just realised that.
So we're going back to the original plan on the 21st at 11.
Yes.
And Scott wasn't wrong.
Scott was not wrong. Okay. Harry was wrong on this one.
Yeah, obviously, just so we have that now live recorded.
Yeah, it's on camera. I was wrong.
You were wrong.
I was wrong.
Beautiful. I'm going to chuck you a little bit of a curveball, Harry. I don't know if you've watched any of these pods before. We've got a little bit of a tradition where we have words of wisdom. Basically, it's just a little motivational quote or bit of inspiration you can give to those watching who might be able to take that away, apply it to their daily lives. So, like, Mine. I'm a bit of a cheater, but this is I
How
mean,
did you search it? You know what's coming, and he searches it.
That's what I was doing when I've been on my phone here. No, I've got a daily motivation app.
Oh, I've got one of them.
Yeah, they're good, aren't they? Like,
Yeah.
Yesterday, I was feeling a little bit like that because I had a bit.
Yours
of
the black logo one?
Yeah, with the lion.
I don't think that's what I've got. But on my home screen, at the top, the banner, and it changes every single time I unlock my phone.
Yeah. Cool. That's cool. But yeah, this one, same situation. It will just ping up quotes, and I'm like, that's good. You know, like just sometimes you need that bit of boost.
Did you have one today then?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I cleared my phone
now.
screen, so I've just had to go searching. I've come up with this one, which I quite like actually. Because obviously, this is about just getting yourself in a good positive state of mind. This is how it goes. A quote: "We either make ourselves miserable or we make ourselves strong. The same amount of work." The amount of work is the same.
See, he does that to you.
See,
are you going to cheat as well?
No, I'm not going to cheat. There was a few ones that I've saved on there that I think are good, but whenever I hear something like that motivation one, the one that I always think of is that Russ, not the UK Russ, the American Russ.
All right.
In my opinion, the fake Russ, but he is the real one. But
that's for a whole different podcast.
Yeah, we don't want to get into. I actually watched the whole YouTube about their like beef and argument and stuff like that. It's so weird. But I think he always says about like what happens if it's bigger. Like you set your expectations to be something quite small, and then actually you excel that, and it's totally different, and it's much bigger than what you could ever imagine. And I think that's the whole thing about setting goals. Like say if you're setting a target for yourself, I can't really do this with a team. Like I couldn't go, okay, your target this month's $100,000. Because they're going to be like, oh, if I don't hit it, then I'm looking bad. But always set your personal goals. Like we just spoke about this before we went live about gym. Mm-hmm. And I was saying, someone asked me, what would your dream body look like? Like who? And I was like, Mike Thurston. Do you know who Mike Thurston is? I
don't actually know.
But he is massive.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's in good shape. So I was like, isn't that so unrealistic? And I'm like, well, yeah, but that's the whole point. Because if I'm under that, I'm still over the moon. But if I go and set it to someone that I think
it's not unachievable. That's
the thing. But if I got to that point, then I'd be like.
But you're guaranteed, right? Perfect example. So obviously, probably going with what motivate. So my probably wisdom is you'll set your goal here. Yeah. You'll get to that goal, and I guarantee you'll move that goal.
That's the thing. It never ends.
The goal has to keep moving. For you to keep going through life, you have to keep moving the goal.
So would you say you're slightly different to Harry in that aspect where you want to set yourself one goal, achieve that, bam, bam, keep getting those constant little boost of
exactly. Yeah. So
gold, if
it
you
was
want to call it that.
A guy called Sid that does Body Zone in Bracknell, and he's like, Scott, you're looking at that guy, right? Yeah. He said, but what you haven't realised is, and this is the bit that I think everybody should take away, is you've got people wanting to be you.
Yeah, of course.
And you're looking to be that person. That person there is then looking at the next one. So as you're all moving along your life goals, you're an inspiration. You don't think you're looking for inspiration, but you are an actual inspiration for somebody else that's younger. Like you don't realise just because you have self-doubt, they're looking at you going, mate, you're massive, or I want to be that. How'd you get your arms so big, or this? And you
had to drop that in there, didn't he? As he tensed it.
You had to, at the beginning, I was that person at the beginning, look at the next one on the chain. And your life goals has to keep moving forward, and that's how life is.
My issue with it is I celebrate wins too much. Like I get if I set say I want to open or I want to get to X head count, I'd get to that and I'd celebrate a win too much. I get carried away.
And then so for me, highs and lows, right?
So that's when that happens. So for me, I set it to a point like, so, okay, cool. Offices. My goal is to have an office in LA at the moment. There's so many other offices before LA.
Yeah.
That's in the
But
plan.
That's your goal. That's the end goal.
That's the end one. I'm not setting it to Birmingham or Dublin, for example. I'm setting it straight to the big one. Because then I've always got that at the focus. If I hit these targets and these goals, okay, cool, let's celebrate it. But it's back to the bigger picture. Let's keep going.
Keep moving your goal.
Yeah. Do you know what, actually? I'm going to throw you a little curveball, Harry. Your spike, what is it?
Yeah, do you know what?
What?
He obviously his podcast at the end, he'll always ask the guest, like the other day, so I won't say who Harry interviewed, because it's going to be on season 2, but he has a tradition where he asks the person, what is your spike?
Do you know what a spike is?
Go on.
Do you know what like a spike is at all? So your spike's the thing that's unique to you that makes you stand out. So it's the thing that separates you from the crowd.
So you've done really well as a 24-year-old to get to where you are right now. You've obviously got big goals, but yeah, what is your spike? What has been your spike up to this point?
I think honestly, it's not believing my own hype. I think that's a big thing because, okay, regatta's coming up, Henley Regatta, yeah. I went to Henley College, always go, see all my mates. A lot of people there might follow me on Instagram, have me on LinkedIn. They'll come up to me and they'll gas me up. They will they will say whatever they want. Then you feel like big about it. Not believing that and keep myself level-headed has helped, but also just the dedication side of it.
So even though that you've done, most of the stuff that they're saying is true.
Yeah.
Don't allow it to go to your head.
Yeah. Ego is the biggest enemy to everything. It's the thing that will mess you up the most. Just staying level-headed, I think, is everyone always says the same thing. Yeah, my determination, my grit, resilience, those kind of things. I think I've got non-negotiables that I've set in my personal life and my work life, and staying strict to them has helped me as well. Like bratty behaviour, I won't deal with it. I won't.
I know where you're going with that.
I'm not going to say it.
Can't say it on here.
I'm not going to say it.
Where he's going with that.
But the sacrifice that I've said, that's my non-negotiable. Now, I won't deal with bratty behaviour. I won't deal with things like that. That's a non-negotiable for me. So I have to cut people off because of that. So I've cut loads of people off because of that in my life. But staying true to those non-negotiables, I know that that's what's best for me.
And that's your spike.
Yeah.
Right, Callan. On that bit, I'm going to chuck the curveball straight back. What would you say yours is? Because I quite like that.
Oh, mate, just give it a couple of years and I'll tell you when Harry gets me on his pod. I don't know without thinking about it.
But honestly, I'd say everyone's getting non-negotiables.
Yeah.
If you set them out.
See, I'm thinking about with what you said, I already knew because obviously I did Therapy Friday.
Yeah.
And even if you wanted to call it a spike, obviously that's my therapist. She said, from what you said and the conversations that we've had from the beginning, she said, you see it as a downfall, and she says you're not taking it as a positive. And that's what I would now, obviously with the conversation, is my spike, is that I'm too loyal.
Yeah.
But
a spike's always not a positive thing. It can be a negative thing.
So, but she's saying it's positive, and I'm saying it's got me in a lot of trouble being too loyal to someone.
Yeah. When
they're completely screwing you over, doing bits and pieces of that. But I respect loyalty back, and that's obviously what my spike is, that I'm over loyal. That's my problem.
Advice-wise as well, I'd always say try set out 3 non-negotiables that you're going to stick to and live your life by them. They might change all the time, but I just don't deal with bratty people is one of my things.
Yeah, I don't put up with Karens.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Did you see on the news when they were talking about the whole Karen thing, that a Karen went on there to complain about that people were calling it a Karen, and it's like, what are you doing? Like, you're not helping yourself.
All you've done is just literally...
Like, yeah, you're just helping it. But yeah, those non-negotiables I'll stick to. It's like if you're gonna your words, everything. If you say something, do it. I don't deal with bratty behaviour as well. And if you're gonna,
my other one is don't make a promise unless you actually going to deliver it, because the promise to me is everything.
Yeah, and the other thing is don't lie. I can't stand people that lie. Little lies drive me mad. Trust is gone.
Everybody has that little lie. Like it's the bullshit that goes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know full well. A little white lie is like, oh yeah, I switched 2 lights on and you only switch. Do you know what I mean? Everybody does that. It's a normal thing. But I know what you're talking about. It's the actual, full well, you're talking absolute rubbish.
The people that scare me the most are the people that believe their own lies. They lie so much that they believe their own lies, and then will throw something out like mental health's a prime example of this. They'll throw something like that out there so that you feel bad. So then I
actually genuinely, that has come to light. I know obviously we're trying to wind it up, but that's actually come to light. So as a person that I know, he's been lying, and everybody in the gym knows he's lying. Yeah. But he's now, and the bit that's really, really frustrated me is he's lied so much. He lied to his girlfriend. He's lied to all these different people. And the bit that's annoyed me so much, he's now claiming that he has mental health.
Yeah, it's the biggest.
And it was like, you've lied. That's all that happened there. Just admit you lied about lots of different things. You got caught up in the lies. You believed it, but had to lie to cover the first lie. And it happened over a long period of time.
Yeah.
And now your easiest way out, and sometimes it's, I have mental health. I mean, no, mate, all you're doing is tarnishing what should have been a thing that you can be open about your mental health. you're basically using that as an excuse as your cover, and that's what annoyed.
That's
the
my
life
biggest.
out of me.
That's my biggest issue at the moment.
Do
Like,
you know, sorry, carry on.
the whole anxiety is another one. Yeah,
Yes.
like
It's another. It seems like it's an easy get out clause, right?
and then it puts people that actually have it in a position where they don't feel comfortable talking about it. Like, I know someone that they might talk rubbish about loads of people that are going to be at this pub, and they go, "Oh, I'm not going to this pub. I've got anxiety." No. You're not going to this pub because you know you've done people wrong in there. It's nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
It's like self-diagnosing. I think that was an issue in COVID. A lot of people self-diagnosed.
Yep.
And so, like, how easy is it to get antidepressants?
Oh, easy. I'm having bad thoughts. Yeah.
I know people that did it because they thought it looked cool, having antidepressants,
Yeah,
and they liked the other side of
I
it.
could believe it. That's the bit
That's
that
sad.
the stigma's gone too far. Yes, okay, you guys are allowed to be emotional. I don't believe that. The society says you're not allowed.
Yeah.
But you should be able to. But because of certain, exactly on what we're talking about, the guy in the gym, different bits and pieces of that, people look at you and go, "Oh, is he?" You doubt it.
Yeah.
Is he actually having anxiety because you know the guy's lied, right?
That's the thing, like, I know people that owe people a lot of money, and they'll just be like, "Oh, you can't chase me. I've got mental health." What? Like, you can't blame that, because then someone that's actually suffering won't feel comfortable speaking out about it and suffer in silence because there's other people using it as an scapegoat.
And then doesn't want to be in this.
That's
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Do you know? I was just thinking actually about. I think I'm an opportunist. Where I've got in my life, situations like my freelance and work, just any little thing that pops up, I can automatically think that's a good opportunity. Like, if there's someone there, I'll just get a little kink in my heart. I need to go chat to them. It's like a company I freelance for, obviously doing sports television. That come from, I was doing work there and they were doing their own separate thing over there. So like, we were going to go. This was in Burton-on-Trent when I was doing some futsal videography for Reading Wolves Futsal Club, and they were 24/7 recording it for BT Sport, and I was there just doing my bits, and I was like, we literally just about to get in the car. I was like, let me go chat to him, and all of a sudden that was July, and I've been like doing weekend work for him since, like, up and down the country, some really, really big sporting events. So I think that's one of mine, and then knowing the shit, excuse my language, that I've been through, knowing that I can overcome anything.
Yeah, well, that's the
another
thing, is what's the worst someone can say? We say this about sales training the whole time. It's not a personal thing. If someone says, "No, I'm not here," or "Go away, F off," anything like that, it's not a personal thing. It's just they're not in a position to say yes right now. Asking the question is the worst thing someone can say no. It's like, I wanted to get someone on the podcast who is probably my favourite person in the world. Like, me and them was my screensaver when I met them. It's still that. I've been told it's the biggest ick in the world, but I don't care. I asked him to go on the podcast. He was like, "Look, I can't do it right now." Okay, well, what happens if he would have said yes? I'd have had a sick podcast guest. My voice went then, but he said no. That's fine. It's not a personal
But
thing.
it still didn't change your opinion, though, did it?
Oh, not a chance. It's not putting me off asking the next person, because what happens if they say yes? Then that's it. But you've got to ask the right questions.
Isn't there a saying, for every 50 no's is one yes or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's probably some made up stat.
There's
from
so many quotes. Obviously, like a great Michael Jordan one, wasn't it? Like, you miss 100% of the shots you never take.
Oh,
There's
exactly.
so many big ones there. You don't buy, if you don't buy a ticket, you don't win a raffle. But going from that and just linking it back just before we wrap up, because we've been doing it for a while now. But where with that, do you think that's taken you a while to get that into your brain, or do you think that is maybe something which your parents installed, or school installed into your head to just not take it personally? Because I know a lot of people out there, and it took me a while. Now I'm not really concerned by it, but there was a point where I would feel maybe attacked by it.
Oh, yeah, no,
because
I
it's
did.
quite. And then you start, like, jealousy, envy, and things like that if people have been accepted for it. But I mean, yeah, just from your perspective,
Very recent.
Yeah.
I used to say everything personally, because for me it is personally to a certain degree, because HM, that is me. So for someone saying, "No, I don't like this, I don't like that you're doing there," okay, it kind of is a personal attack. But I won't take advice of someone, and I won't listen to someone's opinion that I would not go to and ask. So marketing's a prime example, right? I'll go to Lewis for advice about marketing. I wouldn't go to a lot of people. So when someone tells me in a club, "Oh, I don't like what you're posting," I don't care. I wouldn't ask your advice for it, so I'm not going to take your opinion on it. So I was in Gun Street ages ago, and there was this guy who's a trainee recruitment consultant trying to tell me how to run the business. And I was just like, okay, cool. And there was another guy there just like, he doesn't care. Like, not in a rude way or anything like that. Like, you're 6 months in a trainee role, he's been doing this for X amount of years now. If he's going to take advice, it'll be someone that's been doing it a lot longer, or someone that's in a position to give
wiser,
it.
Right?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that opinion is the most useless thing, I think, because everyone's got one, but it's not always right.
Nah.
My opinion could be you look better with hair. You're like, I don't look better with hair. Like, well, that's just such a pointless thing, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Like no one cares. So yeah, I used to take everything personally, but I've now learned to kind of take myself away from it. And I think sort of reading, listening to podcasts and stuff like that has helped me do that.
Cool. Well, I think that was a brilliant 50 minutes or so. Hearing your insight. I mean, of course, we could do another one and just talking about how you actually got to where you were, but this obviously mental health focus. So it's great to hear your opinions on it, even though what you just said about opinions. But obviously your thought, it's not really opinion though, because you're someone of authority. You're there. You got to where you were, and you've had to deal with mental
inspiration
health along the way. So yeah, really good podcast. Obviously we mentioned about Harry's podcast, The Spike. We will put some links in the bio of that. And then, of course, stay attention to Bark's channel, social media pages, HM Staffing, and you'll find out some information on when season 2 and Harry's big reveal for his company is going to be announced. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Until next time.